Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everybody's doing well out there today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to host your own Ghost in Docker. But first, a quick message from today's video sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Linode, the largest independent cloud computing provider. If you don't want to, or can't for whatever reason, self-host applications the way we talk about on this channel, Linode provides virtual servers that make it easy and affordable for you to host anything in the cloud. You can set up any of the applications that they have available in their marketplace with just a few clicks, or you can set up your own Docker VPS and install basically whatever you'd like in a Docker container. They have load balancers and firewalls available to help keep your apps online and safe. If you run into any trouble getting set up, Linode comes with amazing 24/7 customer support by phone or ticket, along with hundreds of guides and tutorials to help you get started. Sign up today at linode.com/dvtech and get a $100 60-day credit on your new Linode account. Links are in the description. So if you're not familiar, Ghost is a content management system. You may have heard of other CMSs or content management systems out there like WordPress or Joomla. Ghost has been around for a few years now, and honestly, I used to be a web developer. When I first got into web development, I built websites in Joomla, and then that turned out to be a disaster. Joomla ended up falling apart. Anyway, later moved on to WordPress, and then after a few years of that, I discovered this idea that I was unfamiliar with called containers and Ghost, and I was like, what is this? Like, this is all nonsense. Why would somebody do this? And well, here we are. Now we're talking about containers, and now we're talking about Ghost. And the reality is, I wish I had paid attention to Ghost sooner. And that's why I want to show you this today. So basically, if we jump over to here, here is ghost.org, and you can see here it says, turn your audience into a business. And there are things built into Ghost natively that WordPress will never be able to do, just based on how they're structured and that sort of thing. I just don't believe it's possible for them to do the things that Ghost has done. So if we take a look here, basically the idea behind Ghost says create your own platform on the web. Ghost is a powerful app for new media creators to publish, share, and grow business around their content. It comes with modern tools to build a website, publish content, send newsletters, and offer paid subscriptions to members. This is all natively built into Ghost. This would have been half a dozen or more plugins in WordPress that you would then spend a week trying to get to configure to work all together. It's a nightmare building a website like this in WordPress compared to how easy it is in Ghost. Now, we're not going to go into all of the details, let's build a membership website. I mean, maybe you guys want to see how to build a membership website in Ghost. If you want to see that, let me know in the comment section down below. I would be happy to take a look at that. So basically, we can see all kinds of different examples here. These don't link to anything. I think that's kind of weird, but whatever. Publish by web and email newsletter. It's got an editor built in from the ground up for professionals. Basically, you can write content. If you're familiar with creating a newsletter posts where you put in variables and all that kind of stuff for, hey, first name, this is a newsletter, right? Well, you can actually do that with content on Ghost's platform. And I know that's just a little trivial thing, but it's kind of a neat little implementation that they've done. So I really dig what they've got going on here. Basically, from the ground up, from the start, you can build a membership platform and accept payments for those memberships. By default, Stripe is built in. That is the natively supported payment method system for Ghost. However, they do actually have a website, or a web page rather, here for alternate payment gateways, including PayPal and, what interests me the most, Patreon. So you can, with either of these, use those as additional payment methods to give people access to specific content based on their membership level. And you can actually build out different membership levels and assign different content types to different membership levels as far as what access they've got. So this is a very, very cool platform that I'm actually kind of grossed out that I haven't looked at it sooner. I was bitter, I guess, that I was going to have to switch from Joomla to WordPress to then Ghost in the span of a short number of years, and I think I just cast it aside because I didn't want to deal with it. And now here we are all these laters, and I'm kicking myself for it. So let's close or minimize that. So we jump over to here. That's the back end. So here is just a dummy site that I put together on studiolab.local. We can see that there's several posts in here that we can access. We just click the image there. We can see this is the layout. It's all lorem ipsum. It's just default filler text that I wanted to try some things out with. And I really like the way this looks, the way it's built. You can have videos embedded, again, natively. For a long time with WordPress, that was a special plugin, not in order to embed videos easily, but to do things like have the images be, the videos be resizable, scalable, based on platform. That was usually a bunch of extra coding that had to happen that's just built in. Now, this could be a theme-based thing, but it was here, and I'm stoked about that. This is a third-party theme that I installed from their theme repository. However, if you want to, you can also custom build themes, and I really dig the way they've done that. I don't know how many of you out there are developers, web developers of any kind, but all these different content management systems have their own way of handling things, and I really dig the way that Ghost has handled this. I actually want to show an example of some of their code here to maybe get other people intrigued on the idea of building a website or a platform in Ghost, or with Ghost rather. So here I've got Notepad++. Let's drag that up to there, and then we can just grab this author page here, and of course across the top, if it's not the default page, then do this. The headers and footers are implied in their templates, and I appreciate that. That was something that you had to do manually in every one of your page templates that you built for WordPress or for Joomla. Joomla was a disaster when it came to that, but you'd also have to do all of these includes at the top and bottom to make sure everything worked the way you wanted to, and here it's just there by default. I love what they've done with this. Of course, here you can see they've got their functions in here for loops and things like that to get information, whether it's blog posts or pages or authors or whatever the case is. The way they've written their loops just makes sense, and it's much more easily readable, in my opinion, than some other content management systems that I've seen. So that's a lot of upfront information about Ghost. So let's actually take a look at getting Ghost set up on Docker using Portainer. So here is Ghost's Docker Hub page, and it's compatible with all kinds of different platforms. So well done on them for that, making their containers widely accessible to basically anybody who wants to host a Ghost instance. If we scroll down, we can get some information about what Ghost is and different ways to deploy it, and basically what we want to do, the version that I've got up right here, I actually deployed via this command right here. So if you got one of my last videos, you'll see that I showed how to self-host a Composerize instance via command line, and I took this, modified it just a little bit, and then deployed it here in Portainer on my local instance. However, if we scroll down a little bit further, we're actually going to use this one today for a couple of reasons, really. The one that we were looking at a moment ago, this one right here, uses a SQLite database, which is fine, I guess. But if you're going to have a larger platform, a larger website, it's probably better to do a MySQL database for data integrity and speed and things like that. So that's actually what we're going to take a look at in this video. So if I scroll down to right here, here is their Docker Compose, their stack for Ghost. We can see that it's a version 3.1. It's got two services listed under it. The first one is Ghost. This is for Alpine. Restart as always. Port 8080 is mapped to 2368. Of course, you can change the 8080 portion of that to whatever you need it to be for your setup, as to not conflict with other ports being used by other containers on your setup. Below that, we've got some environmental variables here. The first like 5, 6, I guess 5 are all database connection variables that you'll want to make sure that you map appropriately. Really, I think the only thing that you'll need to change on this, in my opinion anyway, is example right there for the database connection password, because we're going to use the root user for this. And that way, by doing that, it's not necessarily a great idea for security, in my opinion, but for just testing purposes, this is fine. But down here, we've got the MySQL root password environmental variable on the database, and that the password there is example, the password here is example. Make sure you change those so it's not example. It's just a bad idea to leave that as it is. The database connection database will be Ghost, or again, our user will be root. Below that, we've got a URL. This is something that you'll want to, actually my previous, or my current install didn't have by default, and I had to find it later. So I'm actually glad to see that that's in here. Below that, we've got a node environment variable there as well that says development. By default, as it says right above that, this image defaults to production. So so be aware of that. If you're fine with it being in production, leave this as it is. If you need it to be in development purpose or in development mode, you can uncomment node_env so that it will kick itself over into development mode for your setup. With that, I'm sure you'll get additional logs and you'll get messages and things like that that will show up on the homepage. I'm not sure about that. I haven't actually dove into that, but that's I believe what that is for. Again, below this, we've got a database. The image is MySQL version 8, restart always environmental variable is just that root password. So what we can do is grab all of this, head over here to Portainer. Again, here is the Docker Compose, or the stack that I use to set up my my existing Ghost instance. So what I'll do is come back over here to stacks, I'll click add a stack, and there we go. Now we've got our Docker Compose in here. So basically, there's a couple of things that I'm going to change to make sure that this works the way I want it to. I'm going to do Ghost demo for my name. And then my port of 8080, I'm going to change it to 80 or 9889. Database client, MySQL, this is all fine. I'm going to leave it as example. I know I said don't do that, but again, this is just going to be a test. And then once I'm done with this video, this is going to get scrapped. And then if you guys are interested, I can make another instance where I actually show the ins and outs of developing an entire membership-based website using Ghost in Docker. So I'm going to leave this all as it is. However, the URL is going to change. Because I'm actually going to set this up on a URL with an SSL, and that way we can access it securely over the internet. So I'm going to do HTTPS, and then we'll come back over here, and it's going to be ghost.dbtech.com. So I'm going to go ahead and just type that in there, ghost.dbtech.com, like so. And then we're going to grab this URL. We're going to hold on to that for just a moment, because in a moment, I'm going to jump over to Nginx Proxy Manager and get that set up so that we can take a look at what it looks like to go through the setup process that way. So once we've got all of this, we should be good to go. We've kind of talked about all of the different items in this Docker Compose. So what I'm going to do next is actually scroll down. I'm going to drag this up. Then I'm going to come down here to where it says deploy the stack. Click that and just hang out for a couple of minutes while this deploys in the background. Okay, so now we have our Ghost container deployed. What we're going to do is jump over to here. Oh, here we go. I'm not sure what happened there. Let's take a look. Okay, so right now it is going through the process of getting everything set up for the database and kind of going through that process. Once this is done, we'll come back and take a look at what the website looks like by default. Okay, so now we're seeing that there is, we've actually got some more 200 statuses here. This is all good. So let's minimize all this stuff up here. So basically in the background while all of that was loading, what I did was use my reverse proxy, Nginx Proxy Manager, to map ghost.dbtech.com to this container on Studio Lab. And the result of that was this. Here we are. This is ghost.dbtech.com. Again, this is just for demonstrative purposes. By the time this video goes up, this URL will not be available, so just keep that in mind. However, what we want to do first, we can click through here and we can kind of get an idea of what's going on, but let's actually do this and then type in ghost. Oh, you're going to be like that. And DNS. Okay, I guess we'll do this in Edge. It makes me sick to my stomach too. I'm sorry, but this is what we're going to do. So the website title, basically we're going to put that in. We're going to call this Ghost Tutorial Setup. My name, my email address, and we're going to create my account and start publishing. So hopefully this will pop up. There we go. So we're going to click Never. This is kind of your startup screen. What do you want to do first? And I'm going to let you guys kind of go through this on your own if you want to check this out. Just know that this is where you're going to go. What I am going to do is click on Explore Ghost Admin. Then it's going to bring us here. Now, if you've been watching this channel for any time at all, you'll know that I much prefer dark mode here, like so. And this is what your dashboard looks like. It gives you a lot of good information, a lot of starting points, things to look at, that sort of thing. So just a couple of things that I want to show you guys during this tutorial, this setup, just because there were things that I missed, because I was new. It was my very first time. Be gentle. So here we are on our dashboard. We've got some options. We can take a look at our posts. We can see that this coming soon is right here. And in here, we can, this is going to be our header image, or featured image, if you want to call it that. We can put in a caption for it, like featured image caption, you know, being original and whatnot. And then what we can do, we've got some default text in here by default. If we come down here and press enter, it opens up a new block. Now look, I've been very much against this kind of setup in WordPress for a very long time because now that I'm looking at this, I feel like WordPress ripped off Ghost. Ghost has apparently been doing this for a while, and WordPress has decided to add it in the last few years, and I hated it. I liked the WYSIWYG editor that was in WordPress by default. I ended up having to disable their new block editor and install my own editor. It's just a friggin' nightmare. So it really, what the problem was, it was disrupting my workflow, the way I was used to doing something on a platform I'd been using for years. This is a new platform where I'm experimenting with new things and trying new things, so I'm okay with it here for some reason. So there's my brain for you. Anyway, from here, we've got this little plus box, or plus mark, and we can basically decide what do we want to do here. We can put a Spotify playlist in there. We can put a SoundCloud playlist in there. It looks like there's options for NFT. If you want to put an OpenSea URL in there. You can upload images, do markdown, do HTML, galleries, dividers, bookmarks, email content. This is stuff that's only available to people who've been emailed this post. I dig that. That's very cool. Email call to action, public preview, buttons, call outs, so much stuff in here that you can do just from this one little block right here. And again, I hated it in WordPress, love it here. So there we go. So what I actually wanted to show here was this. If we come up to the top right-hand corner, we've got an update button where we can make it published or unpublished, or we can just update if we made any changes to this page, post, whatever. We can click update right there. Or we can click on this little icon right there and pop that out, and we can adjust the URL slug. We can change the publish date. We can add tags to this. Think of tags like categories. Post access, again, public, members only, paid subscription, or specific tiers, so that you can granularly dictate who gets what access to what content. I love that. Again, these paid memberships, or these paid membership services, like in WordPress, were often very expensive plugins, and I love that Ghost has got this built in by default. So digging that. Excerpts. So basically this is, we'll actually come back to that. Metadata. So basically, your metadata up here, you can actually, I lied. The excerpt is for what may show up in your blog list, all your blog posts. Your metadata, you can actually adjust per article if you want to do that for SEO purposes. If there's a specific thing that you want to show up in the search results, you can specify that right there, and I love that. Again, a lot of this was third-party plugins in WordPress that were cumbersome to configure, and here it's just built in. More than that, you can do Twitter cards, you can do Facebook cards, again, all the same, uploading special images, uploading custom titles, descriptions, all of that you can customize right here in the blog post. I love this. Email newsletters, code injection if you needed to inject code at the header or the footer of your website. You can do that on a per post or per page basis. This is amazing. Again, that was an additional plugin in WordPress. You can feature this post or you can delete this post. Also, it's a trivial little thing, but this is honestly one of the final breaking points for me that made me decide that I want having this word counter right here. I'm almost positive that WordPress has this too, but you know, so I really love the process of creating content in Ghost here. So let's actually come back to posts. We didn't change anything, so I'm going to leave that. I did the featured caption thing. Posts, leave. Oh, all right, fine. Update. There we go. Now we can go back and see our posts. Of course, from here, we can create new posts. Same thing with regards to pages. You can create pages here. You can sort by pages, access authors. So you can really be granular about what shows up here. If you're looking for a specific article or a section of articles or whatever, all of your filtering is up here at the top. We've got tags and members. Tags, again, think of tags like categories or tags. I mean, maybe categories are going away. Members, I don't have any members in here, but you can set yourself as a member to do some testing. So if you want to kind of get an idea of what that would look like from a member's perspective, you could do that. Also, last section. We're going to come over here. And here we've got a bunch of different settings for like your website, title and description, set time zone, publication language, metadata, Twitter cards, like all of this you can adjust on a global scale and then be granular on each of the individual posts and pages. You can make this site private so that it requires a password in order to be shared. I love that. Let's go back a page. Design. So I actually dig this. So here is the default design. And then in here, you can kind of edit what this looks like as far as colors and wallpaper, headers, and all kinds of stuff, site-wide title descriptions. All of this is customizable. Now, this is on a per theme basis. And if we come over here to where it says change theme in the bottom left-hand corner, we can use any number of the themes that they have here that are available. And in fact, you know what? That's interesting. So I'm going to click that. And I'm going to say I'm going to use Dawn. This is funny. I actually was chatting with somebody on Twitter this morning who had basically this theme on his WordPress site, and I said, "Hey, I love that." And he's like, "I can't take credit for it, but here it is." So I'm going to use it for my site. So I'm going to click that, click install. It's going to go through the process of getting everything done. Dawn has been successfully installed and activated as your theme. So if I come back over to here, oops, like that. Now here is what my website looks like. Now, of course, in the demonstration, the little thumbnail or whatever, the poster shot for that, I can put more information up here. Additional blog posts that I write would show up in this list. Absolutely love this theme. So again, you can change themes pretty easily just by finding a theme that you like or developing your own if you're into that kind of thing. This has actually made me think about the idea of getting back into theme development specifically for Ghost. So there's that. So let's go back. We've got settings, navigation. You can create your own navigation here. Love that. That's super, super easy to do. Let's go back a page. Staff, you can decide who gets access to edit and manage things here by creating additional users, importing additional users here. Let's go back. Membership. Here is where you can set up your different membership tiers. Now, in order to do that, you will need to either connect with Stripe or install PayPal or Patreon and synchronize with that. We're not going to do that in this video, but that's how you would do that. Email newsletter, if you wanted to build one of those, there's an entire section for that. Integrations, again, these are basically, think of integrations as plugins or add-ons. You can, here we've got Unsplash for our beautiful free photos, or you can integrate with GitHub or Discuss or Analytics or there's a ton of them. If we click that over here, there's so many plugins that you can build your website with using their pre-built stuff here. Code injection, again, if you want to do something globally for a code inject in the header and footer, you can do that here. And then labs, where you can test out some new features. So I know we covered quite a bit fairly quickly. There's a lot to cover as far as what Ghost is. The setup process for Ghost is actually super, super simple. And I'm stoked that Ghost has gone seemingly out of their way to make an installation for this as easy as they have. Of course, you can modify that deployment, that Docker Compose or that stack to fit your needs better if you need to do that. But this is a very basic setup that works very, very well. And I love just how easy Ghost is to use. So if you found the video helpful, do me a favor, give the video a thumbs up. I will have everything linked in the description down below. I know I said that I did some stuff with Nginx Proxy Manager and that sort of thing. If you're not familiar with Nginx Proxy Manager, I will have a link in the description below where you can check out a video or a couple of videos actually on how I set up Nginx Proxy Manager and how I get my SSLs from CloudFlare into Nginx Proxy Manager versus using Let's Encrypt SSLs. The CloudFlare SSL setup is just easier, in my opinion, to set up and manage than it is to use Nginx Proxy Manager and CloudFlare and all of that. The CloudFlare setup is just easier. I'm having a hard time with my words here. Anyway, so all of that will be available in the description down below. If you like the idea of me setting up a membership website using Ghost, and whether it's through Patreon or PayPal or whatever, let me know what you guys think I should do with it. I'd be happy to build a community website where we can share information and that sort of thing if you guys are interested in that. If you are, again, let me know in the comment section down below. But I think with all that being said, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. So as always, thanks for your time. I always appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you in the next video.